Hello everyone, welcome to History Forge. My name is Taylor Hamlin. Today I'm going to be reviewing how to build support systems in your classroom. So think about how can we get parents, other teachers, other organizations and groups to support our classroom and the things that we're doing inside of it. So there's a lot of ways to actually build up support for your history classroom or program. The two I'm going to focus on in this video are communication with parents and working with other teachers. Again, there's a lot of other ways, but in this video at least I want to focus on those two just because I feel like they're the most immediate. So the first thing I want to show you is the actual communication schedule that I use along with some of the other people I work with. If you see on my screen here, it says History Day Communication Schedule. I even have somebody working on it right now, it looks like. And if you scroll down, you'll see where it says August, September, and so on and so forth. These are all the things that are kind of our to-do list. And we kind of started new this year where we wanted to make sure that these things are definitely going to happen. But if we scroll down, you'll see every single month has them. And just to remind you, everything I show on these videos will always be in the video description. So if you're like, oh, that looks like a cool resource, please just look at the video description. It's down there. Looking through it, you see there's some hyperlinks in January, February, March, so forth. These are things that we've already made last year. So these are real emails that we sent out, and we made them in a way where you can change the names of people, change your institution that you're called. But the idea is to communicate with parents and people, letting them know what's going on. So you can kind of see how extensive this is. Just August has 7 different emails. But that's how strict you have to be with it. Like, you need to communicate with people, let them know what you're doing, and be asking them for support. There's a lot of different ways that you could be focusing on communicating with your parents, and one of the ways is just through email. So on the screen I have an actual email for you. It just says Dear Parent or Guardian, blah, blah, blah. And it just goes over what History Day is, how is it used, it just gives you feedback. And so this is an example of one of those emails. If I go back to, find it, there it is. If I go back to this one, so you see all these hyperlinks, that's kind of what we're providing you. We're providing you just with templates for emails because they take a really long time to write. But once you house these things and have them, it just becomes a lot more easy just to copy and paste, fill in the blanks, and then just pump those out to parents. So again, if you want any of the stuff, it's in the video description, but take away this at least. Contact your parents. Tell them what's going on with History Day. Ask them for help. You'll be blown away by how much support you'll get. Every teacher has a relationship with the parents of the students that they're in charge of, and if you use that relationship, I promise you it's gonna help you out so much. Like, for example, last year when we did History Day in my district, I asked parents to help us staff a concession table. We just sold baked goods, and we made a lot of money in order to support scholarships for students. That's one example. You could have parents come into school and help students build projects in the school building. That way you can kind of oversee things and just build that rapport with parents. There's other ideas too. Ask your parents to have conversations with their students about History Day. Give them a monthly to-do list, being like, hey, ask your student how they're doing with their primary sources. Ask your student how construction of their project is going. Parents want information to talk about their students, especially teenagers. A lot of these kids don't talk to their folks anymore, and parents just have a hard time doing that. So if you give them a topic, if you give them that a little bit, I think you'll see that parents will be one of your best allies in building a strong History Day program or any other kind of history project you're doing in your classroom. Now, what about the actual teachers that you work with? Teachers are one of those other groups of people that can be an incredible ally for you as long as you use them. So I'm going to help you, I'm going to give you one activity that'll help you maybe bridge the gap between your school counselor and you. So there's other teachers you could be working with other than your school counselor, obviously, and I'll show you some ideas for that. But I focus on school counselor just because my school counselor and I partnered a lot last year. We made videos, we did co-teaching classes. It was really fun. One of the things we did was a site called Xello. And it's on my screen right now. And it's just I don't even know how to describe it sometimes. It's like social media for your personality, your career future. It just comes in a very clean way that kids look at. So for example, this is what it looks like in the student version. So I just did mine real quick. And you see down below, you'll see where it says about me. You have little different tests like matchmaker, personality style, learning style. These are all little exams that kids can take. It's kind of like the 16 personalities one that I showed you in one of the earlier videos in this series. Very similar to that. but it also gives them different ideas as far as like what they could be. So I'll just do matchmaker real quick. I did matchmaker. These are the things that I could be or should be doing. I like to see that martial arts is the first one for whatever reason. If you look at mine though, a lot of my stuff involves dealing with people or educating or like being a leader. So for example, the top 4 are all educators of some kind. And eventually, if you scroll down enough, it does get to like middle school teaching and high school teacher. So my personality is very geared toward teaching. It's just kind of cool for the kids to see the different things they can be. I'll go back to another one. If you go to personality style, it gives you more. And so what I encourage you to do is let students take these little tests and let them work with their counselor and always try to funnel it back to what's happening in your history classroom. For me, I do National History Day, so I tell kids like, hey, what about your future careers could you practice in my history classroom? So that's my advice for that. Definitely check it out. I'll put it in the video description. And yeah, so the last thing I'm going to talk about is just ways that you can partner with other teachers. Kind of going along with communication and building a support system. Other teachers are probably arguably one of the better groups that you can be partnering with, probably the best, honestly, because you're all doing the same thing. You're trying to educate students, and I think you'll find that there are a lot of avenues for collaboration in your classrooms. For example, if one classroom is doing a project and that classroom has a lot of the same students as another teacher, those two should be trying to work together. It just makes sense. Students need more time in class to do their projects. They need more support from more than just one other teacher. So if you could give that to them, it's just going to help them. So if you can collaborate, please do, and I'll give you some examples on how you can. So as always, I will share the links I give you, but right now I'm looking at this National History Day website. It says project examples, so if I scroll down, you'll see you have the last 5 years worth of examples. Triumph and Tragedy was just last year, so it looks like they're still uploading those. We do have 2018 though, so what I'm suggesting is you look at these things, let students look at them too. And as far as collaborating with other teachers, I was just going to open up one because I feel like looking at them helps. Like you see, this is one of the exhibits. For those who don't know, National History Day exhibits can be 6 feet tall. I want to say about 3 feet wide and maybe about 3 feet in depth, something like that. Actually, it might be 4 feet wide. It's been a while. The point is, though, they're huge, and there's a lot of artistic work that could go into them. So if you have a teacher who has any kind of work with designs, that could help. Your math teacher could work with you and the kids on actually designing and drawing and mapping out the actual exhibit itself. So just looking at these things, there's so many different ways. The writing can be done with the language arts class. Going into others, let's just pick out documentaries. So I'm not going to watch a documentary, but as you can see, there's a lot of examples, and I think you'll find that a lot of this stuff can very easily connect to other classes, like tech media classrooms, even English classrooms, because they have to do scripts. If a student wants to do something more science-based, they obviously can't do a science experiment while they're presenting their project, but they can sure film something in science class and put it into their project if they want to. So there's a lot of different ways that you could connect to teachers, and I think it's, not about really like how little you can do, it's really limitless. I just came up with a bunch of ways to partner with teachers, and I was just kind of making them up as I go. Some of the real ways I've partnered with teachers, though, things I've actually done, me and an English or language arts teacher partnered up, and that language arts teacher helped my students proofread their essays. They actually made it an assignment, though, because that language arts teacher wanted or needed to, because it's a part of her standards, to teach the kids about theses or their thesis. And for me, I was like, well, we're already doing it, just borrow mine. So that's what we did. I partnered with a tech ed kind of STEM teacher, and they help students build their actual exhibits. They help them draw them out. Some students who are really ambitious actually got to build theirs inside kind of the tech ed woodshop room. The art teacher and I have partnered up. The art teacher allowed students to do some of the artistic work in his class for a grade. So there's a lot of different ways you could do things. And again, it's just one of those ideas that you just have to talk with another teacher about. Just don't hold yourself back. Have those conversations. And remember, it's best for the students to work with other teachers and you at the same time. That's all I have today. Hopefully you got some good resources out of it and some good insight. As always, double check the video description if you saw sources that you like. Check out our social media if you want to kind of keep up to date with all the resources that we're publishing. Ask any questions you have too. Every now and then I'll get a couple in the video descriptions or in the comments section. But All the other stuff, like, subscribe, all that fun thing. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye. Hola! Hey, I already did the weekly stuff last week, so I don't feel like doing it again. So, if you haven't done it yet, check out this video. Wait, which one? Hold on. Yeah! Wait, no, this video. And this video! I think I'm doing it right. Check out these two videos because they have the weekly summary, so if you're really curious how I actually go week by week, check that stuff out. At the end of these videos, I'll keep doing that. But this week, I don't want to get ahead, so that's all. Bye.